Glad that you joined us here today. Our theme for the year of 2023 is Living Out Loud. And the month of what month is this? It's March still. For March, we are having our focus on cultivating authenticity. The title of our talk today, and I can't tell you how excited I am about this one. The title is No Approval Needed. Oh, can't wait to hear what Charlene brings to us today when she gives our message. We are so glad that you joined us today. Please feel free to add to the chat or in the comments any prayer requests or celebrations that you would like us to include later in the service when we do our affirmative prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment. So we invite you to get comfortable, relax into this moment as we officially kick off our service today with this video. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. All right, and now it is time for our meditation. So if you know me, you know I like to tie in our meditation with our title of our talk today, and it's No Approval Needed. And when I thought about no approval needed, I thought how that just generates a really good feeling when you realize that no approval is needed. So I chose the Feel Good meditation for today. So just wherever you are, just take a moment to relax your body, settle into your chair a little deeper, wiggle your toes and get your feet into a comfortable position. Relax your shoulders. And just take a deep breath in. Hold it. And exhale. Take one more because it feels so good. Inhale. Hold it. And release. And as I take you through this meditation, just continue to breathe in deeply, hold it, release it, and notice how good just that mindful breathing feels as you take in oxygen into your body and as you release. So like I said, today in our meditation, we're going to focus on feeling good, feel good emotions. So, what are feel good emotions? Let's just list a few to get you started. Happiness, joy, peace, abundance, love, health. These are all feel good emotions, right? So I'd like you to select one of those feel good emotions, something that you want in your life, something that makes you feel happy, something that makes you smile, a really happy smile, a Buddhist smile. And just hold on to that word. Might be happiness, peace, joy, ease, abundance. And think of a person or an event that you can just equate. When I think of my daughter, I think of happiness. Those of you who know Heidi, you know what I'm talking about. When I think of my son John, I equate him with peace. So try to take that feel good emotion and try to do that little equal sign. Connect it to a person or connect it to an event. What makes you feel that feel good? Who makes you feel that feel good emotion? And just kind of hold that in your mind, in your mind's eye. And then let that just seep, that feeling, that feel good emotion. Just let it kind of cover your body, paint your body, the outside, and it's moving all on the inside. And maybe you even want to place it somewhere that needs a little love, needs a little happiness, needs a little joy. Place that somewhere in your body. And that feels so, so good. In fact, it feels so good. Let's try it again. So take another feel good emotion. Pick a different one this time. Happiness, joy, abundance, peace, health, love. Pick another one that you'd like today. You're not limited. You can have as many feel good emotions as you want. So let's pick another for this part of our meditation and see if you can do that equal sign again. Who comes to mind when you think of that particular feel good emotion? What comes to mind when you think of that feel good emotion? I've got one. Now take that image, that visualization, and just drop it down into your body. Picturing just like a waterfall or like honey slowly dripping. Just let it cover you. And if you want, maybe you're going to send it to a particular part of your body that needs that feel good emotion, that energy. Everything's energy, right? That energy behind that feel good emotion. You can do this exercise anytime you want. Sometimes I think of our memories like a curio cabinet, right? A special little cabinet that has all these special things that we place in it. And those are our wonderful, good emotions, our wonderful, good memories that we carry with us. Or like a curio cabinet that no one can take away. It can't be destroyed. It's always, always within us. And at any time, we can open up that door, that curio cabinet, and pull out any feel good emotion, any feel good memory that's associated with it. As you pull in this positive energy into your body, you'll find that you feel positive energy just growing. It's radiating out of your body and it's going out into the world. And that's what we want to be. We want to be that bright light that just shines positivity, that shines feel good emotion to others. When we do that, when we pull up these memories, we don't just benefit. Everyone around us gets the benefit of us being in a happier, a better, feel-good place, more positive light going out there into the world. Now, only because we have wonderful music and a wonderful message waiting for us, let's just slowly return. Keeping in mind what I said, you can do this meditation anytime that you feel, yeah, I need to burn a little brighter. I need to be a little more positive. You have this memory of this meditation, and you can pull it out of your curio cabinet anytime you need it. So wiggle your toes, open your eyes, and delight in the music of Leah.
Good morning, everyone. When this song becomes familiar, I invite you to sing along. I open myself to love, and I know that I deserve it. I open myself to love. I open myself to love, and I know that I deserve it. I open myself to love. I open myself to love, and I know that I am worthy. I open myself to love. I open myself to love, and I know that I am worthy. I open myself to love. I open myself to love.
Thank you, Leah. That was beautiful. I open myself to love, because this whole topic is, so yeah, hold on a second. There. This whole topic this week, this month, this entire year is living out loud. And when we open ourselves to love, the way that Tamara took us through in the meditation, then what, they say, there's a saying I remember in church, if God be for us, who can be against us, right? Love, the most powerful energy in the world. And when we come from that space, whoo, life is good and nothing can stop us. And we have all felt that. Haven't you felt that in your life? That feeling of triumphant joy. Nothing can stop me now. You're even imagining yourself, just try to hold me back, knowing that you've got this. Now, unfortunately, it's a fraction typically of what the rest of our self-talk and our self-thought forms, whatever we keep in our minds and whatever tapes we play that run in our minds. If we were to pay attention to that, what things are we telling ourselves all the time? Sometimes they're not as loving and as open. And when we talk about this week, it's about approval from others. Typically, what's holding us back is a feeling of unworthiness, of shame, or some not enoughness on some level. It's when we look at something that has happened and we decide it's our fault. Have you been there? Yeah. Even young children whose parents might be going through a difficult time and may perhaps get divorced. Children as young as 3 or 4 will think, what did I do? It's something I did. And as adults, we look back, we look to children and we see that that had nothing to do with them. But the child in us, the child, that child thinks, oh no, it's something that I've done. Very often we'll take neutral, negative experiences and try to place some sort of blame on ourselves. If only we would have behaved differently, then this thing wouldn't have happened. It's a little bit like superstition, or maybe a little OCD lightly, where we feel like, well, if we do this thing or wear these underwear, then my team will win. I guess Major League Baseball's opening soon. So, if I behave this way, then that effect will be positive, because we think a lot of times that the outside world is completely affected by how good we are, how worthy, how well we've behaved. We decide that we have to behave ourselves into worthiness. And it's on one hand ridiculous, and on the other hand completely reasonable. Because as we grow up in our society, in this one anyway, we're told that love is conditional. Even our Bible stories about God have a conditional, judgy, jealous, wrathful, and kind of an a-hole. I'm sorry, I said it, God. And yikes, that's pretty destructive when you think, as a human being or as a group of people who are worshiping something or someone they've created out of their own image. Usually it's true. We create our gods out of our own image. So if we feel punitive, we feel like, okay, God must be punitive. If we feel petty and jealous, oh, we feel like God must be. I've heard Reverend Michael Beckwith say, God created man in its own image, and man has been returning the favor ever since. We do that. We decide that negative things are happening to us because we're not good enough. And so we double down and we grit our teeth and we work harder to try to be that thing that we convince ourselves, if we're good enough, long enough, then the good thing will happen. Okay, so I'm going to break some news to you. There is no earning worthiness. Because we're here, we are worthy. There's no prerequisites. In fact, Brene Brown says, worthiness does not have prerequisites. You're here, you're worthy. In fact, Meister Eckhart says, I find nothing more destructive to the well-being of life than to support a God that makes you feel unworthy and in debt to it. I imagine erecting churches to such a strange God will assure endless wars. Makes sense to me. I mean, just think about this from your personal point of view. You know how one day you wake up and you're not feeling so great. You feel like, oh, I should have stuck to my diet, or I had this New Year's resolution and it's only February and I'm already falling off the wagon. Whatever it is, we're feeling a little bit less than. And when we don't heal that within ourselves in that moment, and we just walk out into the world, we tend to see others from that same lens. And even if we hadn't noticed that we were beating ourselves up that day, you could tell you're doing it when you start beating other people up too. When you start judging, look at that, look at her, look at that, look at him. I wouldn't drive like that. Why should you? Anytime you're doing that thing in your head, it's probably happening to you, by you. And then we're just externalizing that. And everybody knows what it feels like to be looked at like, the up, down. And so When we do that to ourselves, we bring that energy to others and they can feel it. And that is, the start of that sense of separation from ourselves, from each other, from the divine sense of separation. Now we know that the truth underneath it is that we cannot be separate from the divine, even if we tried to be. But it's just that our concept of ourselves sometimes turned within, that critical eye turned back toward us. And then we decide that it's for some other reason. And then we start to project. That is just a recipe for more of what we don't want. And it's okay. Even if we're in the middle of that, the trick is not to judge that part. When you wake up and you realize, oh my gosh, I've been in the middle of self-judging, then what you don't want to do is judge yourself because you were self-judging. Because again, you have to just accept. Ernest Holmes says in A New Design for Living, we need to never view human personality as something unreal or unworthy, but rather as an individualization of the divine. Each one of us is individualized divine. It is the universal spirit that is incarnated in each one in a unique way, and that gives warmth, color, and variation to that which otherwise would be an eternal monotony. In other words, yeah, you're different, but you're awesome. Everyone is different in just the way the divine decided that we should be. And it's okay if we don't get so many likes on social media, if we walk outside and everyone doesn't just love what we're wearing. It's okay, because we are expressing ourselves. And what a boring tapestry it would be if every thread was of the same color. We are here to be a little different, to be a little more ourselves, not less ourselves. And that means discovering ourselves. Ernest Holmes also says in A Richer Living, he has many publications, Richer Living, the road to self-discovery often calls for the clearing away of underbrush of ignorance, of fear, of superstition, and a sense of isolation, which has made us feel that we were unworthy, unheld, and lost. In the divine providence of good, salvation is unnecessary, but self-discovery is essential. Essential. We do not save that which is lost. We merely discover that which needs to be found. And when we're looking within, we might have arrived at a spot of dissonance that we talked about in our first workshop of last couple Sundays ago. There's a sense of dissonance that we encounter. It's where we feel something less than awesome. And if we shy away and keep cutting away from who we really are because it doesn't match the feedback that we're getting, people who tell us to be different, be quiet, why don't you be like your brother? And why can't you? And they're comparing you to the rest of folks and asking you to be just like them and letting go of something that you were expressing in yourself. We're not necessarily going to try to be like everyone else. The goal is, as Ernest Holmes said, we want to rediscover. We want to rediscover ourselves because we didn't lose it. That's the thing. When we grew up, we were children and we had a special flair and we were whatever we were. And someone asked us to tamp it down. Okay, maybe we tamped it down. Sure, we got that job, we got that promotion, but that thing in us is still there. So we're not really trying to save that which was lost. We are merely discovering that which needs to be found within us. So salvation, when we talk about salvation in many churches, it's about, letting go of your own thinking and replacing it with other thinking. And letting go, and because the sinful carnage of the body, it's all sin. We were born in sin, we're told. Oh yeah, let go of that. Any thought you have, not natural, you better just replace all your thoughts with these thoughts we're going to give you. And then you need to get in line and just do what we tell you, and then you'll be saved. But the idea is it's not about saving, because we're not lost. It's rediscovering what was already here. Imbued in every individual is a beautiful gift. We're not born in sin, and we're not lost, and we don't need to be saved, nothing to save. Everything is already in us. We just need to reveal it, peel away all the false things until what is left is the pure divine essence of God, because that's who we are. We know it as babies, we knew it. We just don't remember that we knew it. Other babies, you heard the story. Tamara tells it best. She shared the story about the 2-year-old who welcomed the new baby into the family, and she was so excited to see her new baby brother. And then she asked her parents, "Can you go away for a little while? I just need some time with my brother." And they're like, "You're going to be okay?" And they're looking at the door. She's like, we're fine. Just give me a second. And she goes over to the baby when their parents leave the room. And she's like, "So tell me about God. I'm starting to forget." We know this when we're babies, and then we get these layers and layers and layers and layers of all the societal expectations, and we stop remembering who we are, but it's still in us. I'm reminded of a story. A woman was studying the book of Malachi from the Old Testament in the Bible. She took particular interest in chapter 3, verse 3, which says, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver." She was puzzled by verse. She was puzzled. And then she wanted to understand the process of purifying silver. So she visited a silversmith and she watched him work. As she watched the silversmith, he held a piece of silver over the fire and let it heat up. He explained that in refining silver, one needed to hold the silver in the middle of the fire where the flames were hottest so as to burn away all the impurities. The woman thought again about the verse. He sits as a refiner and purifier of silver. She asked the silversmith if it was true that he had to sit there in front of the fire the whole time that the silver was being refined. The man answered that yes, he not only had to sit there holding the silver, but he had to keep his eye on the silver the entire time it was in the fire. If the silver were left even a moment too long in the flames, it would be destroyed. The woman was silent for a moment. And then she asked the silversmith, "How do you know when the silver is fully refined?" He smiled at her and answered, "Oh, that's easy. It's finished when I can see my image in it." Think about that. Think about the fires of your life that you've been put through. Those moments where things weren't going well and whew, there better be a pony in all this poop, right? You're shoveling piles of what seems to be piles of donkey poop in a situation. I know, I heard it too. And underneath that, you're just knowing that there must be something good in this. And it turns out it could be that the situation itself is it's forging something forth in you, allowing you to release that which does no longer serve you. Any ideas of less than, any sense of not good enoughness, unworthiness. Those things sometimes are the only things in the way of what we can see in front of us as our gift. So this is the idea that we are made in the image and likeness of the divine. The divine also, without getting superstitious about it, the divine also has a plan or a design of who we are and who we're meant to be. And there are things that we go through that could be impurities in what we, we've kind of captured through this life. We might have attracted a few layers of impurity, some negative thinking, or some bad habits, some unworthiness, a little jealousy, whatever it is. And yet these situations that we're placed in are meant to peel away those things because they're not real, they're not true. And what will remain is the purity that we can then reflect the face of the divine. People could see it in us when we enter into the room. People can say to us after we've been in their company for a while, "Oh, it just feels so great when you're around. I just feel better. I feel seen." And that's simply because we are able to love ourselves enough and not need to prove ourselves to ourselves, letting our truth be our truth, loving our quirks as much as we love our little great points. We love ourselves so much that we start to love other people because we can't help it. It overflows. And then in loving ourselves, even with our little quirks, other people get permission to love themselves. Other people get permission to love themselves. I was watching a show on, I was watching The Daily Show, and they have a bunch of different guests that are doing it since Trevor took off and he's on the road doing his comedy. But there was Al, I forget his last name. He was doing an interview with a drag queen performer. This is a beautiful presenting female, but a male in drag, fully in drag, talking about how he was born the way he was born. This is me, this is who I am. And other people started giving him labels. And he said, before I even knew that I was queer or whatever he calls himself, I can't remember the actual term, so forgive me, but in the LGBTQIA plus list of things, he said he didn't even know, but people were just giving it to him and telling him he's this and that. And he said, and then they told me I wasn't good enough and I had to stop being who I was. And my son and I just looked at each other like, can you imagine someone telling you to just stop being who you are? Just stop it. And luckily, we don't have that. Like, luckily in our family, we're good about that. We're helping each other figure out who we are. And no one's telling you to be less. Now, yeah, I've been told to slow down and don't be this, don't be that. That's just normal. But literally, we have to start loving each other for exactly who they are. And so this man said that he's doing now cabarets and plays and other entertainment, because when he does this, other people get permission to be who they are, even if who they are has nothing to do with cross-dressing and I don't know, drag queen. It might have nothing to do with that. But when you can be loudly and proudly 100% who you are, then the next person can say, look at that. You see, everything's, all the threads on the tapestry are not the same color. Perhaps I can also stop clenching so tight and holding so tight this visage I want everybody else to see. Perhaps I can unclench and let people see the real me. And maybe those that fall away from my presence are kind of like the impurities that fall away from the silver. And maybe those who stick around are the ones that really love me because I'm being more me. There's a thought. And so when we are who we are out loud, purposely, on purpose, just being authentic, which of course starts with knowing thyself, accepting thyself, loving oneself, and then entering into the world. Now, when we enter into the world, instead of seeing all the flaws in other people, we start to see all the joy and all the benefits and all the love in other people. Because what you see, right, what you pay attention to will grow. So if we keep paying attention to people's negative sides, that's all we're going to see. But if we start to love ourselves with ourselves and then bring that into the world, we start noticing all the great things. We start saying, oh my gosh, what great pair of shoes. And Look at your smile. You just brighten up the room. We start to notice things about people that make them feel seen. And then you start a chain reaction that is positive. Each of us has the ability to change the world, change the entire world. And listen, we don't have to be the president of this and the prime minister of that to change the world. Nope. No, we just get up, we do our work, and then we show up. Wherever we are, we bring that loving presence. We notice people, we smile at them, and we give. Because no longer are we worried. We're not navel gazing, and we're not terrified that we're making the wrong impression. That stuff is all about me, 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 me. No, if we're truly authentic, we get ourselves to where we need to be in that loving self-acceptance sense of worthiness. And then we show up, we give, and we let it be. We don't give and then I hope that other people put us on a pedestal. We just give. And it's for the other person that we give, not for ourselves, even though we get the benefits of giving. It feels good to give. But that is the beautiful reciprocity of the universe. And when we start doing that, then we watch how it grows, exponentially grows. The good in our life grows. When we can give from a sense of love, a sense of worthiness and admiration, all the positive things that we cultivate, we can bring that out into the world. So pretty much, I guess what I'm saying is this whole talk is an explanation of Tamara's affirmations and that meditation, that feel-good meditation. If we could just get there in ourselves and know we are worthy, then we show up in a world that we've just helped make a better place. And so at this moment, we're also remembering all of the things that are happening in the world. We've got climate change going on, a lot of changes there. This is a month of Ramadan. There are Muslims that are going through their fasting and they're wholly focusing on the divine. They fast during the day and then they eat when the sun goes down. And it's just to sort of purify their awareness of the divine. We honor that. There's just so many things happening now. And of course, I mentioned MLB, right? I'm not a baseball fan, but many of us are. And we do have that Easter holiday coming upon us. There are many, this is springtime. So there's a lot of unfolding going on. And we're here for it. We just know that we are contributing to that with every thought, every breath, every prayer that we take and make. And so I'll leave you with that. Let's go into prayer. Were there any requests? Let me check the chat. No. Well, I will just go into prayer now. I invite you to join me in just knowing that there's only one presence. That is the divine. That is God, the Almighty, whatever you want to call it, nature, the universe, life. There's only one. And it is present right here and right now, for it can never be separate from its creation. This divine energy is imbued in, through, and as itself. It shows up as every different energy, every different level of animation, be that a rock, from a rock to a seal, to an elephant in the savannah, to all kinds of life. The divine is present. And so we know that we are one. We are one with the divine. We are one with one another. And in this divine presence, we have all of the capabilities. Everything that is true of the divine is true about us. So there's no sense of lack, because the divine, the universe, is not broke. There's no sense of sickness or unhealthiness, because the universe is vibrant with wholeness. Everything's working together for the highest good. And we have a sense of companionship because we have one another, and we have that indwelling spirit always there, ready to commune with us. And so I just speak my word that any appearances of anything unlike the divine is now melting away like the impurities in silver, leaving behind the truth of our being, that we are the face of God. And so I give thanks for this awareness. I know that it's already unfolding perfectly in the lives of each and every person in the sound of my voice, and I just let it be. I just know that all is well. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. And Leah is next.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you for that reminder. And this song is a chant, a multi-layered chant of reminding myself that I am good enough already without any quantification, without anyone else's approval. And the funny thing about it is, as I was receiving the song, there was that little voice in my head that was like, this song is not really that good, right? It just, the reminder that we constantly need to be looking into the silver to remind ourselves of the true image of who we are. I'm good enough, 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 I'm good enough. I am better than good enough. I'm good enough, 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 I'm good enough. I am better than good enough. I am good enough. I am good, oh, I am better than good enough. When the clouds, when the shadow of doubt say I'm not good enough, I'm gonna shout, gonna let the truth out that I am better than good enough. I'm good enough, 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 I'm good enough. I am better than good enough. I'm good enough, 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 I'm good enough. I am better than good enough. I'm good enough. I am good enough. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I am good enough. Oh, I am better than good enough. I'm good enough. I am good enough. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I am good enough. Oh, I am better than good enough. I'm good enough. When the shadow of doubt say I'm not good enough. I'm gonna shout, gonna let the truth out. I am better than good enough. I'm good enough. I am good enough. Say I'm not good enough. I'm good enough. I am let the truth out. I am better than good enough. I'm good enough. When the shadow of doubt say I'm not good enough. I'm good enough. I am let the truth out. I am better than good enough.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Wow. What an important message to receive today. And Leah, thank you so much, especially for that song. I'm going to keep playing that one through my head. Woo. Now is the time to bless everything that is happening here today, plus the donations that are shared with us. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation, just like you heard in our opening video. So we are a tithing community. We know that as we give, we shall receive. Your donation helps our center, our home organization, plus other organizations that support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. And as you look at the screen, you know there's so many different ways that you can give, and it's easy to find something that works for you. So now, as we thank you for your support, let's move into our blessing of our gifts and say our affirmation of oneness. The presence of Spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. I am good enough. In fact, I'm better than good enough. All right, folks, now it's time for our announcement. So every Tuesday, if you want to join Charlene and her friends, you can join them for their dream study. You can talk about your dreams, listen to others share their dreams, and get some interpretations of what's happening in your subconscious when you are dreaming. We're always getting little messages and guidance. And now it's time for our closing affirmation. Oh, folks, I want to encourage you to just take the title of our talk today, No Approval Needed, and just make that your motto this week as you go through life. And I love what Charlene said. When you do that, when you're living your authentic life, you give permission to others to be authentically themselves. And folks, that's how we change our world a little bit at a time. All right, let's do our closing affirmations. So take your hands, just put them around you and give yourself a big old hug. Remind yourself that you are always, always good enough. You are valued. You are perfect just as you are. And join me in saying, I am love. I am love. Thanks. And now look at somebody who's in the room with you. Could be a real person, could be a little furry creature that's with you, or sending it out to someone who's not with you, but you know they need to see this message or hear this message, because we all know we're all connected, right? So just send out this message. You are love. And now put your hands up in the air. Do what we say, love sprinkles, and remind yourself, it's all love. Thank you. Thank you. All right, folks, we thank you so much for joining us here today in March, our last Sunday in March. And next time we see you, it might be April. Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you. If you can stay, please stay. We do pearls. We share little nuggets from the service today that just resonate with you. And if you have to go on your way, then we send you off with love, wishing you the very best. All right. Thanks for joining. Stay if you can. And if not, we'll see you next Sunday.